Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be talking about joining on multiple fields. To start off with this tutorial, I will show you an example when it is necessary to join on multiple fields, and I will show you what happens when you accidentally forget about joining on multiple fields. And finally, we will look at how we can rectify the situation and actually, in fact, join on several fields to get the right result. So let's get straight into it. Here we've got two tables, Table A and Table B. Table A lists the orders that were conducted in our two stores, which are North and South. As you can see, we had two orders in the North store, order number 1 and order number 2. And in the South store, we had only order number 1. And also it lists the customers, Mike, Jack, and Susan. Table B lists the itemized description of those orders. So we've also got the store location, we've got the order number, and we've got the item within that order and the sale made on that item. So here you can see right away that order number 1 in the Northern store had 2 items sold, a laptop and a mouse. Order number 2 had 1 item, which was the monitor, and order number 1 in the Southern store had only 1 item, which was a camera. So now we want to connect the two tables, and basically what we're after is we want to see how the sales that were made for each of the customers, the total sales for each of the customers. So visually you can see right away how that works, but let's see how we can do it through joins. So if we were to go ahead and do a left join, so basically we want to attach the table on the right to the table on the left, and if we were to just do a normal left join using one field, we would try to join on order number. So here, if we want to match order number in the left table to the right table, it'll look something like this. Order number 1 will be matched to order number 1 in the first row of the right table, in the second row, and in the fourth row. And as we can see, that's already incorrect because we're matching order number 1 from the Northern store to order number 1 from the Southern store via this third match. But let's see what happens further down. So now order number 2 from the Northern store will be matched to order number 2. That's because there's only one order number 2 in both of those tables. And then order number 1 from the Southern store will actually be matched to 3 rows in the second table, which are order number 1, from the Northern store, then the second item from order number 1 in the Northern store, and finally the only item from order number 1 in the Southern store. So in total, the resultant table will look like this. We will have 3 rows for North order number 1, 1 row for North order number 2, and 3 rows for South order number 1. And as you can see, this is a mistake. There's an error because this highly inflates our sales. It looks like we've sold 2 laptops, it looks like we've sold 2 mice and 2 cameras, whereas in fact that's not true. So joining on a single field here can lead to incorrect results. So let's see how we can fix that. What we need to do, and this you can see naturally from these tables, is we have to include information about the store in our join. So we know that the order numbers are unique for each store, and so therefore if we include the store in our join, then we will avoid this whole problem. So let's see how that works. On the top left here, and circled in red, you can see that we're joining on order number from table A equals order number from table B, and store from table A equals store from table B. Let's see how this works in fact. Here we've got the North order number 1 being matched to 2 rows in the second table. So North order number 1, which is the laptop, and North order number 1, which is the mouse. And that's correct. Next, order number 2 from the Northern store is matched to only 1 row in the second table, which is the monitor for the Northern order number 2, which is also correct. And finally, the Southern number 1 order is matched to only 1 row in the second table because there's only 1 row that contains both the word South and the number 1 for the order, and that is the camera for that Susan bought. So now if we perform that join, then the final resulting table will look like this. And as you can see here, the 1 row in the table on the left was duplicated to match the quantity of items, which was 2 items bought by Mike. And so in total, you can see that this time we've got the correct result. We can also assess how much each customer has bought, and there are no mistakes because of an incorrect join. So that was a good example of how to use joins on multiple fields, and more importantly, why you need to do that in certain cases to avoid errors. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you next time.